Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? I hope the answer is amazing. This is Totesolive, and we are back with another Expedition gameplay. Today, we're going to be looking at a deck that was kind of a something in constructed for a little while when the newer set first dropped. When we got Auric Reclaimer, so it was Dark Frontiers. There we go. So the idea behind this deck is we are going to try to cheat Sword of the Sky King into play, but not actually Sword of the Sky King. We're going to try to cheat a forged up version of Sword of the Sky King into play using Auric Reclaimer. We can do this as early as turn 3 if we get the perfect draw of a Master Cartographer, a Sword of the Sky King, and a Reweave in our hand, like in our opening hand, opening 3 draws. And the way this works is you use a Master Cartographer to discard a Sword of the Sky King. Then on turn 3, you use a Reweave on your Master Cartographer to go get an Auric Reclaimer, which then puts into play a copy, or puts into play a relic weapon with the highest power and defense, highest power and armor, of all relics in your void. And the only relic weapon we're going to have in our void is this Sword of the Sky King. So effectively, we make a bandit's flail that is an 8/8. So as early as turn 3, we can be swinging in with an 8/8 weapon. And then in order to back that up, we have a little bit of removal, a little bit of go wide removal, some other creatures to just kind of block the field out, and then a Righteous Intent, which can return some armor back to our 8/8 weapon so we can keep swinging in on units until we just knock them all out. And then also, once we hit 5, can flip over and become a Cassava Trueheart, which will then mean every time we swing in with our weapon, or every time we swing with our Cassava, we add more armor to our weapon, meaning we can swing in with our weapon, knock out a unit, hit our opponent, and then add more armor, basically double our armor on our weapon. So it makes it hard for our opponent to swing in and kill our weapon. It also helps us to bump our weapon up. And then as backup for the Master Cartographer, we have a Lightning Sprites and Herald Songs. This gives us more ability to dig through the deck, just in case we have to play out an Auric Reclaimer early against like aggro decks and then block with it. We have a Remembrance as another way of getting the Auric Reclaimer back. Also, once the Reclaimer comes up off of shift, or if we've had to kill it using a harsh rule to wipe out the opponent's board, we can also then Remembrance the Auric Reclaimer back and replace the weapon. So effectively, we have 8 copies of Sword of the Sky King, plus the 4 more from Remembrance, meaning we have 12 copies of Sword of the Sky King in our deck. 4 that we can cast, 4 more that we can copy up, and then 4 more that we can get back with the Auric Reclaimer by shifting it back into play. So this is it ends up being kind of a fun little deck. It's like most combo decks, you can go a little bit all in. Our removal package is Avigraft, which is just kind of the most powerful removal spell in the game right now, in Expedition format. Annihilate, it's just efficient. It only hits monocolor stuff, but in Expeditions you see a lot more monocolor than you do in the constructed, because it's just one of those situations where there's a lot of monocolor aggro type stuff running around. There's a lot more Sandstorm Titans being played, a lot more Sadides being played, although there's a lot of Sadides in the constructed queue. Not as much now as there was with the new set dropping, or with the new small package dropping, but they're still there. But Annihilate, it's efficient, you can use it on your turn. And then, like I said earlier, the harsh rule to go wide removal. And then we also have kind of backup unit against just kind of late game and problems, and just to keep something down to block with and keep pressure on our opponent, we have the Golem Press. Golem Press is not amazing, we only have the one, but one Golem Press can go a long way whenever you're kind of dealing with those kinds of control decks. And then Privilege of Rank is just a really good favor effect, plus since we're discarding so many things, it helps us get to our 8. So it helps us kind of turn Herald Song, Master Cartographer, and Lightning Sprite into just pure draw, because we would cast this for 2 and go find a Sigil, or we can just, pay 2 and discard it, still find the Sigil, and also get the draw off the Lightning Sprite, the Cartographer, or the Herald Song. It's nice to have other things to throw away. So this gives us Also, for our Cartographer, Lightning Sprite, and Herald song, it gives us 12 throwaways. I'm sorry, not 12, 11 throwaways, so that we can, you know, dig with relative impunity. Plus, once we get up to 8, we don't need any more power, so we can throw away power. And then, of course, we do have a market, because markets are still very powerful. And to do that, we're running 3 Hidden Road Smugglers. Just some lifesteal gets us into the late game, good against aggro. And then we have an Azendel's Gift against our control opponents, a Null Blade, and an Adjudicator's Gavel against any type of graveyard shenanigans style decks. Feeding Time as additional removal. And a Pristine Light against the big deck. Sorry about that, yawn, guys. I'm recording this kind of early in the morning on the weekend, which I don't normally stream. So normally the weekends I stay up a little bit late with family and then sleep in a little bit late. But, you know, today I didn't have anybody else over, so I just went ahead and got up early. And that is Expedition ForgeKing. So we are going to try this out. Let's get to some games and see. Okay, game 1 here, and we have a pretty okay hand. It's got all of our stuff. It's got 2 pieces of recursion in it. We have a Hidden Road Smuggler in case we need it, in case we get flooded out, and then an Avigraft for removal. We are against Isoko? I'm not sure. Isok Zero. I'm not entirely sure of the name, but it's one of those. And we're going to go ahead and keep this. We will start with the Feln banner because it comes into play depleted and also hides the fact that we have Justice. Ooh, okay, well then, we're going to want to get rid of that early. So we're going to go ahead and play the Seat of Order, and we'll play the Auric Reclaimer as a blocker here. We don't mind doing that. Pass the turn back. Probably pulls a torch. No, it doesn't. Okay, so we're going to get this block. It might pull some kind of pump, which is also fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. We'll take a Daring Removal out of their hand. We're just trying to extend our life total out. Oh, Seed of Vengeance was absolutely perfect. So we're going to play the Seed of Vengeance, pass the turn back. We're not going to go grab anything yet, although we might end up getting this Null Blade so we can get some value out of this Remembrance. Opponent swings, plays an Oni Patrol. We are... Oh, and a Nimble Conscript, but that is... Oh, perfect. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that for a few turns. We're going to go ahead and play the Shadow Sigil to save ourselves a little bit of problems here. We are going to... they've only got 3 cards. Let's go ahead and Hidden Road Smuggler for the Null Blade. Pass the turn. If they've got a torch, this is going to get torched. If they don't have a torch... Okay, Streets of Flame, same difference. A 3 damage spell. But the nice thing is that takes up all their power here. So we're going to drop the Null Blade. Auric Reclaimer is good stuff. While they've only got 2 cards, we're going to... Man, it would have been nice if we draw on power there instead, because we could have dropped the Null Blade, killed this, Avigraft did to... no, that's not the best play in the world. Never mind, it's better to go and get that. Okay, we're going to drop the Null Blade. We're going to kill the 3/2. They're getting a lot of war cries, but hopefully they're all getting stacked on the same creature so that we can just Avigraft that creature when they drop it. They're going to swing in. Impatient Power Mage picked up 2 war cries. So that means something else has picked up another one. Okay, excellent. So we're going to go ahead and Justice Sigil. We're going to Avigraft. Take out this. And then we are going to... the problem is this is going to come down. Oh well, we're going to go into Remembrance. We're going to bring back the Auric Reclaimer, which is going to bring back a 5/3 weapon. We're going to kill the 2/1 while we can. We're going to then lose this to this Nimble Conscript. Ooh, Sansari Dervish. And an Oni Ronin. Oh, that was really good draws. We need a Harsh Rule here. Harsh Rule or bust. That was not a Harsh Rule. We could... Oh, that is just a little bit too small. So our Pristine only kills this. But that does do 6. We'd be getting rid of the Reweave. That gives us another turn to try to draw out. So let's go ahead and use a Remembrance. Drop our Hidden Road Smuggler. And then we will get rid of the Reweave to grab the Pristine Light. Play the Pristine Light, pass the turn. Now, the reason I was torn between that was because we could also drop the Auric Reclaimer, but then we would have died because it just would twist their Brigand and kill us. So we really are hoping for a harsh rule here. That's kind of the only draw that gets us out of this. Or they just have the Flame Blast and we lose. So the coin was kind of pointless, but hey, it happens. Aggro is kind of a problem, especially when they get kind of nutty draws like that. On to the next one. Okay, here we are with game 2. Hopefully this time we'll get some of our discard and draw package. Looking at this hand, we've got Privilege of Ranks. We can go to 3. We do have a Harsh Roll. That's pretty good. We have a Lightning Sprite that we'll be able to cast on 3. Although we're going to have to use up our discard. We don't have any Shadow, which is kind of an issue. So I think we're going to redraw this one. Very similar hand, similar situation. Do we go to 6? I think we do, because this is actually worse than the original hand. And here we are, well, I mean, we've got discard, so it's going to be top deck dependent. But we do have all of our colors this time, which is an advantage. Let's hope we draw a little bit better than we did last time. Well, that's very good news for us that our opponent is playing Granite Monument. You do often run into a little bit more budget style decks in the words have just left me. Expedition queue. Here we could play the Master Cartographer to get some damage. And let's do that, because if we draw something we care about, we'll discard this. Ooh, we do care about the Avigraft, which means we do want both of those. So we're going to go and discard a Herald Song. Pass the turn to our opponent. We have another Herald Song in case we need it. We can hold on to that one for if we draw something we want. Like a sword, for instance. Oh, that is going to die, but probably not this turn. Because we want to draw extra cards, and we have fast removal. Let's swing and see if they block. They probably won't. Okay, excellent. I know they get to draw cards, but we also want to draw cards. So, it's not card advantage if we both get to do it. Let's see, what would be a good drop here for us? If they were to drop a... We'd be okay with a Sandstorm Titan. That'd be Avigraftable. I'd be perfectly fine Avigrafting that. The opponent is thinking hard. And they didn't shift that. I'm okay with them keeping that. I'm also okay with them keeping that for one more turn. Oh man, there is the Reweave. So all we need to do now is find a sword. If this finds us a sword, we're good. Did not find us a sword. We're going to go and discard that. And... I don't want to kill this. Pass the turn. We might have to end up going and getting our Null Blade here just so that we have something. Now we're going to go ahead and kill this so that it doesn't get to the 3rd. Because otherwise they're going to get to swing and draw an additional 2 cards. And that's just kind of a problem. We're going to take that damage. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine too. We're gonna kill this turn. Amber Acolyte's also fine. So let's go ahead and kill this now. We didn't find what we needed, so let's play the Seed of Cunning. Let's play the Hidden Road Smuggler. Turn back in the Justice Sigil. They're not in colors that get anything back. So we'll go ahead and grab that Null Blade. And then we have another thing we can remove. So let's go ahead and just swing in. See if they block. They probably won't. But, you know, getting their life down a little bit is not a bad idea. Pass the turn back to our opponent. If they swing in, we'll go ahead and block the 2-1 because we just want to get rid of creatures so that we can get through with weapons. If they play anything... interesting, a Daria Warrior Poet. We're fine with that. Go ahead. I'm okay with you swinging in for 2 with that. So we're going to be sorting this down, it looks like. So let's go ahead and drop this. play the sword. Swinging at the Daria.
Words are eternal.
Yeah, words are eternal, didn't you know? And then we're going to go ahead and pass turn back to our opponent. We don't want to do the Reweave now because it doesn't actually help us much. We have the Avigraft and the Reweave for next turn. Oh, this is going to be good. Torch is fine. Opponent wants to get a little bit frisky. We will take that. So now we know what they're ramping up for. We can go ahead and get rid of this. Reweave this. Go grab an Auric Reclaimer. This is going to give us a 5/3 weapon. Now, it's not the actual weapon, so it doesn't have as much cachet, we'll say. We're going to go ahead and kill the Initiative of the Sands. Just reduce them on power a little bit. Play out this, and then pass the turn back. I'm fine with them swinging in and killing it. They don't have a lot. Oh, okay. There they go. They can twist, or they can amplify a Daria one time. Caleb Crowned Prince. Oh, that's a surprise. They didn't get a. Oh, that's not gonna get a weapon. That's right. So we can kill that Caleb Crowned Prince with our Pristine Light or our Feeding Time. Either one works here. Let's go ahead and. I guess we'll Feeding Time it. Pass the turn back. We're probably going to be getting this Lightning Sprite down so that we can start twisting and looking for anything. We're almost to the point where we can cast our swords, which is kind of cool. That's one of the nice things about having them in here is that you can just cast them at times. We're going to go ahead and block. No reason not to. Gain some life. Get some annoyances out of the way. Harsher would be good. Avigraft is great. Now that we know that they're running this kind of an idea, we're going to go ahead and Avigraft these guys down. Play a Lightning Sprite. Pass the turn. Hopefully they don't draw a torch here so we can block one of these. Now we've killed any of their token generation. Ah, there's the obelisk we really did not want to see. Sure. I'll block and save 3. Hopefully they don't have a torch. We're going to be able to... We could swing, but I think we'll just keep this back as a blocker. Twist this and look for a harsh rule. Cassava. Let's twist again. Not what we are looking for. So we could, if we get one more, we could we could play the Righteous Intent and twist it in the same turn. Let's go ahead and, in the turn, we're probably going to end up blocking the 4/3 here if they don't torch our Lightning Sprite. That'll save us some more life. We're going to go ahead and block here, see what we get. It'd be nice if we drew power so we could play Righteous Intent, play Cassava. And then them not draw anything like a Caleb or a Daria. Hidden Road Smuggler. What does that get me? Pristine Light does not get me out of this. Well, play the Righteous Intent. Play the Hidden Road Smuggler just as a chump blocker. Skip that because we can play her in the turn. We're still looking for that harsh rule. Or even just basic removal. Any of our removal gets us out of this in a good way. Harsh rule would be the best though. Especially if they play anything else out here. Another Avigraft. Not really what I want. If I drop the Cassava, I can block. It's just kind of the same thing as dropping the Avigraft. This also sets me up in case I draw another Righteous Intent. Or if I draw a Reweave or a Remembrance or another Reclaimer. That's not what I'm looking for. So we're going to go ahead and I guess play this one, get rid of this guy. Pass the turn. Not what I want to be doing, but, you know, sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do. We can fade another obelisk because this only becomes a 5/5. Well, there's the prophetic obelisk, the expected obelisk. Pass the turn. We are drawing pretty dead. Well, actually, we can play everything. So a sword would be perfect. Sword of the Sky King would be absolutely perfect here. So they only get the 1. Remembrance is good enough. So we're going to grab the Auric Reclaimer, which allows us to, if we wanted to, we could swing in, which would double up our armor, but they would only lose the 1. So we're going to go ahead and just kill off the Grenadine drone. Pass the turn. We could have swung, but they could have just double blocked, and that would have been really bad for us. Ooh, Daria Warrior Poet. That is really bad for us, because now our Cassava is dead. And Sword of the Sky King doesn't get us out of this, so we need... Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. I forgot Berserk. Man, that was... Woof, those are some... We're getting some bad draws right now. No swords, no harsh rules. That was pretty rough. Looking at this one, we are going to... Well, let's keep it. Man, how good would Golem Press have been there? Could have just been making infinite chump blockers. So we've got quite... Ah, there's the sword. Okay, here we go. We finally found a sword, which is good news for us. We're going to start with the Feln banner, pass the turn. This is going to let us Herald Song the sword away. Now we're never going to find any way of getting... Actually, we have everything, just it's a little bit slow. We're going to play the Seed of Cunning. We're going to play the Herald Song. Discard the sword. Pass the turn. So we are on a turn 4... Yeah, we're on a turn 4 sword here, which is pretty good. Frost Elemental. So they're on a mono blue flyers style list. Okay. Another Herald Song. Not exactly what we're wanting, but that's good because it's discard fodder. So we're going to play out the Seed of Order, which lets us play out the Hidden Road Smuggler. We can then get rid of the Herald Song and go find... Probably Feeding Time is not the worst thing in the world. And then we're going to pass the turn back to our opponent. This will let us deal with any craziness. Sorry about that, I accidentally kicked the desk. This will let us deal with any craziness they might drop. Permafrost is perfectly fine. We're about to reweave this, so that's kind of a nothing we care about. Initiate of the Sands. So they're ramping. What are they ramping into? I don't know. We'll find out. So, Feln Banner. And then let's go ahead and reweave our Hidden Road Smuggler into an Auric Reclaimer. Kill the 3/3. And then we can dig, or we can take this as the time to put the Golem Press out. I'm going to put the Golem Press out because our sword's going to go down to 3. Unless they have some way of pumping their units. We're then going to kill their flyer, which is going to put our sword down to 2. But we're going to be able to play a Golem, which is going to defend us on the ground and keep our sword on 2 so that we can maybe kill another big thing before we lose it. And then we have a couple of turns to dig and try to find, you know, more ways of getting Auric Reclaimers into play. And we have backup removal in case they do drop something we really care about, because we could always just kill this, kill a big thing, and then kill this next turn and lose our blade that way. They have something fast. Maybe it's just a Wisdom of Elders, though. We could also kill... No, I think we should kill the flyer and then drop the Golem. Oh, a Soothsayer. Okay, so... interesting. Changes the plans... Oh, that changes the plans completely. So this is where the beauty of Harshful comes in. So now we're getting to see the deck draw live. So this is the deck drawing out the way that it's, quote-unquote, intended to. Drawing swords, drawing harsh rules. So now we're getting to see what happens when we don't draw completely dead for 2 games in a row. This is where we're happy that we went and got the Feeding Time. We're getting to take over this game a little bit here, which is nice. If we draw nothing here, we'll be able to Feeding Time and Herald Songs. That'll be cool. an Annihilate. Well, we need defeating time this so we can keep the pressure up. And we can always discard a Herald song to a Herald song, so I don't... Well, actually, since we have plays to make, let's just go ahead and make a Golem. This disguises the fact that we have the Annihilate. It holds onto our Herald songs for dig later and still uses our power in a really efficient way, so we're going to just do that. Sandstorm Titan. Ooh. See, and that's what this is for. We're going to go and annihilate that, and that's just going to be the win. Oh, the difference the deck has when it draws into its kill cons and win cons. But that's combo decks in general. Any combo deck needs to draw into those. And here is our game 4. We're going to see if we can maybe get the nut draw. And, ooh, oh, this is really close. If we find a Reweave, we do have the turn 3 sword. We're going to keep this. This is 100% a keeper. We're looking for that, Reweave. Are we going to be able to show you guys the turn 3 Sword of the Sky King action here? Specifically, Reweave and our Master Cartographer surviving. Well, we didn't find it there, but maybe we can find it here. We got one draw. No Reweave. Okay, so we have one more. Just draw off the top. If this top card is a Reweave and this Master Cartographer survives. Probably... Oh, no, okay. Our opponent was flipping through cards, so I thought they were going to kill it, but I guess they don't have the torch. Blurry Chaser. Oh, are they on a scout deck? Oh, Well, bad news is that we didn't find it twice now. Pristine Light might be good. Feeding Time might be good. We don't really need the Null Blade right now. We're going to play the Seat of Order. And then let's dig again and see what we find. Golem Press. Ooh, Golem Press is pretty good because we can just continually block what's going on that side. What do we discard, though? That is a hard choice. What out of our market are we going to want? Just the Feeding Time, maybe the Azendel's Gift? Well, the Pristine Light if they go really big, so... This is a very difficult choice. We only have 4 merchants, but we do have remembrances to get them back. Let's go and drop a merchant. It makes a remembrance be live. Pass the turn back to our opponent. There's not really much of a chance we're going to block this if they twist it up. Even if they don't twist it up, we're not really going to block it. Next turn, the reason why I didn't want to get rid of the power is next turn, if we don't draw anything good, we can drop power, drop Golem Press, drop a blocker, and then just have an infinite blocker that they're going to have to deal with. Which is going to kind of force them to go a little bit wide, which kind of turns on our Pristine Lights and turns on our Harsh Rules. We'll probably block with at least one. We'll block once because we want to preserve life as much as possible and also get them to play out into us. So we'll get rid of one of these guys. We don't really need them alive. We just need one for the Reweave. Oh, that's annoying. That's okay. We've got more coming. Well, that is a Seat of Vengeance. So, let's play the Seat of Vengeance. Let's look one more time for that Reweave. Which we did not find. We can... We don't really need 3. Let's, I guess, get rid of the Seat of Cunning. We'll play the Golem Press, and we'll pass the turn. We've got all the colors we need because we don't really need our Void Blade. Or Null Blade, so we're pretty good there, and I'm not really worrying too much. Plus, this is also a 3rd shadow in case we do need those. But I'm also not really worrying too much about the Avigraft right now. We're going to leave this guy. What are the Golems? Golems are 2 drops, so that also gives us a reweavable target. We'll take the 3 this time. If they've got another coin, they've got another coin. It happens. They didn't. So, so they are. I wonder if they're running. I wonder if they're actually running our Scout Crag deck. That'd be really interesting if they are. We can swing in for 2. They probably have the Fend Off, which is interesting. We'll play this. We'll play this. And then we're gonna go grab. Probably not the Null Blade. Probably the Pristine Light, and then we're going to go ahead and make a Golem. The advantage here being that they can't stun both. and we can just keep throwing this golem under the bus blocking. So this is going to force a little bit more go wide and turn on the harsh rules that we can now cast. At this point, we're just looking for, we have 12. Well, we need one more power in order to turn on the reclaimers from hand. So we have 8. We're looking for any one of our 8 ways of getting a reclaimer. We can reweave it. We can, I guess Remembrance doesn't work. So right now we're really just looking for, yeah, I guess we're just looking for 4. Because we're only on 5. If we're on 6, then we'd have 8. And if we had one dead already, then we'd have more outs. But we're fine for now. We're going to start putting pressure with these little steel golems too. Actually, we're probably going to put pressure with this Master Cartographer and leave the steel golem back. Nice. I'm a fan because I can keep blocking. Block. That's what it's there for. Until our opponent gives this thing overwhelm. Nice. Okay, there's a Cloda. Hopefully that Cloda will get beefed up a little bit for us. Play the Golem Press. We're going to go ahead and swing in for 2. Gain some life here. Hold back some blockers. Torch. We're okie dokie with Torch. And then we're going to follow up with a Lightning Sprite. Pass the turn. I was going to say we're going to wait a moment. We might want to use a Pristine to get back the Hidden Road Smuggler, but we don't really care that much, and there's nothing we want to grab back, so that's not the big problem. Now we have some blockers. They're probably not going to want to swing with the Cloda, but they're going to want to pump the Cloda somehow, and they don't have the back end on the Blurry Chaser, which is kind of the problem with the Katana over other weapons, which is why I run Spyglass in my version of this. Oh, there's the Spyglass. Perfect. Oh, this is going to be so good. So we're going to go ahead and block here, block here. This will let us wipe out their board with this Pristine Light. They're going to get to rebuild, unfortunately, but we also might get them to maybe play some more stuff out. We do need to kill them before they get this all the way up. And some fast spells they have will help them ramp that up, so we don't want that. Annihilate is nice because all the units they have are monocolor. So let's just attack. Play the Golem Press out. Play the Pristine Light. Wipe out their board. It'd be funny if they had some type of like counter spell. There's not many in the Expedition format, but there's a few. Pass turn. And by not many, I mean there's not many that are played. The only thing we really lost by going to Expedition was Unseal, I believe, and maybe some of the lesser played ones like Eileen's Choice. I think that's the only other one we lost. Oh, okay. That's cool. So they're going to have to put a lot into this in order to make it work. We're going to go ahead and... I'm actually going to play this because we have the turn. This will give us the 6 we need, and then we're just going to go ahead and swing in. We have a Golem back as a blocker in case they get too frisky here, and if they do a lot of like crazy shenanigans to like freeze this and make this thing really big and try to swing, we can always just annihilate it. So we're fine here. This feels like we've broken their aggro down. Streets of Flame, sure. Are they gonna do more? Scouted to the bottom, which is good for us. Just going to attack with this. So we'll go ahead and just kill it now. We'll just kill it now. I'm glad we didn't twist. Although they still probably would have killed the Golem. But you're seeing the power of the just the little Golem here. Ah, perfect. This is why we went to 6, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we went to 6. Play to your outs. Now we're gonna swing in for 8. They probably have more Streets of Flame in hand, but that's, I mean, we're on 8. So now all we want is like Cassava. Cassava Trueheart's like our perfect draw here. And then we're gonna swing. Just bonk them for 1. I'm not expecting a lot in the way of charge out of them since they're the Scout Cragro deck. That's, by the way, that's the reason I didn't include this in my version, is because the only way that you can consistently get this in is with a weapon. And once that weapon goes away, you kind of are out of luck. So Hit him for 8 more. Don't play into their Streets of Flame. Go ahead and swing in for 1. Oh, okay. Cool. So they're going to ramp us a little bit. I'm fine with this. And then we're going to make a Golem. I am okay trading that in for 1 more power. That's, you know, a very small chance that that's 1 power that was near the top of our deck. Oh, if only we got reshuffles whenever we pulled things out of the deck. Oh! Okay, well that is an interesting inclusion. We'll definitely want to kill that. Double torch to finish off our weapon. Well, there's 1 torch. They don't have another torch. Oh well. Hey, if we find 1 power, we can just cast a Sword of the Sky King. Let's go ahead and swing in for 2. Wipe out the board. And if they don't have another torch, we win when we swing. Or a Streets of Flame. Streets of Flame does it too. They're going to have to use it, though, to survive. And then we can play out another Golem and just beat him with a Golem next turn. Yep, there's the Streets of Flame. We go to 20 and play a Golem and pass the turn. Granite Coin does nothing, and we swing in with a Golem and win. And that was ForgeKing, ladies and gentlemen. So we went 2-2 with the deck. Not our best run on our expeditions, but I would say that that was a pretty good example of the highs and lows that the deck has. Sometimes you just don't draw into the swords. So there's some thought to possibly putting the righteous one, going down to only 1 righteous intent, putting it into the market, and then putting more removal into the deck. I'm not a huge fan of that plan, just because since Righteous Intent makes a creature, and that creature can really run away with games once you start kind of get weapons going, it's nice to have. There's also something to be said for maybe getting rid of the Herald songs, but we like having more ways of drawing them. The thing that this deck loses compared to the competitive ladder version is we don't have the package with the 1/1 for 1 Sprite that draws 2 and discards 2, which helps us dig a lot deeper in the deck. And the reason we don't have that is because that one is really kind of a package along with the Revenge creature that goes and finds 1-drops out of your deck. So we lose those, but I don't really think the deck needs them as much. You can see that we struggle a little bit against aggro, so if you are really worried about aggro, one of the things you could change in the deck is replacing like a Herald song, the Herald songs, and maybe 1 privilege of rank go down to only 2, but replace those with Lightning Storm, which would allow you to kind of wipe out small on the back end aggro decks, and they would end up being like your extra copies of Harsh Rule. There's not a whole lot more. I mean, you could make any number of changes to the market here. Like, we never played the Azendel's Gift, but we also never ran up against those kinds of control decks where we would need Azendel's Gift. But you could always drop the Azendel's Gift and put more removal in here somewhere. Like the 4-drop fast removal, that wouldn't be too bad to go in here. The problem, though, is that we can only run Smuggler, so we can't run anything here that also belongs in the deck. Some people would argue that that's how Merchants should have been to begin with. Like, Smugglers are the better versions of Merchants. Maybe. Yeah, I could see it. It'd be nice if we could have monocolor Smugglers. If the goal is just to stick with the Smuggler plan, it'd be kind of cool to have monocolor Smugglers, so that we could run markets in monocolor decks in Expedition. Right now, you're really punished for running a monocolor deck because you can't run a market, which means you can't have the answers you need against all the various things in the game. One of the kind of cool things here is that if you don't mind losing the Remembrances, you could easily turn this into an even deck by getting rid of the Lightning Sprites. Excuse me. You can get rid of all of the odd cost stuff, basically. So get rid of the market, get rid of all those, and then run the Auric Reclaimers with just the Reweaves, and then the 0 cost. Oh no, I don't think we can run that, can we? No, it gets a little bit harder to run it as an even deck, but you could run an even deck. You would lose the Remembrances, which becomes kind of a big problem. And then Lightning Sprite can be a bit of a beater if you ever get to the point where you're not worrying about it being burned out like we were. So we never twisted it for value because we were worried about being burned out. And you saw that was kind of actually a thing. They had a Streets of Flame and a torch in their hands. So the Lightning Sprite would have been nuked early on. It kept a lot of pressure up on our opponent, which was very helpful there. But you got to see the deck. You got to see almost the turn 3 sword. Didn't quite work out, but we still got there with the sword on 2 different games, and you can see how that's kind of a win con. And then you got to see the lovely little Golem press doing its job, putting out jump blockers, and then recovering after the harsh rule, and kind of just sticking around and making bodies. So that is Expedition ForgeKing, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and try the deck out. If you are interested, by the way, in us doing more competitive style decks, actually like putting together a Rakano aggro deck to show, putting together a Stone Scar deck, and putting together a big Combri list, we can do that. That's perfectly fine if you want those. I tend to try to focus on less spiky content for these things, just because, I mean, you can find people doing like the hardcore, like best possible tournament lists in a lot of places. And so I like to, focus on maybe more of the fun stuff and more of the stuff that you're not going to see as much, especially since Expeditions feels a lot more of like an open deck format where you can play more options and we don't just have to get down to like the typical 1 to 2 deck meta that we end up falling into all the time. So I'm hoping Expeditions don't do that. I'm hoping they keep being curated well enough that we can stop from falling into that same trap that we've hit every single season in Constructed. So that'll be really fun to see what they do with it going forward. And I'm excited to see what the Expedition tournament is that we're supposedly having next month. I'm waiting for some type of like official announcement on that. So you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.